The Fox and the Ass. Chapter 1. A Meeting in the Forest. In the heart of the Greenville forest, where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, lived a cunning fox named Reynard. His fur was the color of autumn leaves, and his eyes gleamed with intelligence, sharper than the thorns of the blackberry bushes. Reynard was known for his quick wit and deceptive ways, always scheming to gain the upper hand over others. One crisp morning, as the golden sunlight dappled through the canopy, Reynard was trotting along a narrow dirt path, when he heard the clumsy thudding of heavy hoofs. He pricked his ears and followed the sound until he stumbled upon a large, gray-furred ass named Bulbas. Bulbas, unlike Reynard, was not known for his intelligence. He was a simple beast of burden, slow-moving and gentle, with a kind heart but a mind as dull as a stone in a riverbed. He belonged to a farmer who often overworked him, and his only wish was to live a life free of labor. Seeing the fox approach, Bulbas flicked his ears nervously. "Good morning, Master Fox," he greeted with a cautious nod. Reynard, ever the smooth talker, smiled warmly. "Oh, dear Bulbas, what brings you wandering so far from the safety of the meadows?" Bulbas sighed heavily. "My master works too hard. From sunrise to sunset, I carry loads heavier than my strength allows, and I dream of a life where I can roam freely." Reynard's ears twitched. He saw an opportunity. With a sly grin, he stepped closer. "What if I told you that I could help you escape this cruel life?" Bulbas's ears perked up. "You would do that for me?" Reynard chuckled softly. "Of course. I am not just a fox, I am a friend to those in need. There is a beautiful valley just beyond the hills, where grass is lush, water is plentiful, and no master wields a whip. You could live there in peace." Bulbas's eyes widened with hope. "That sounds like a dream." "But," Reynard continued, lowering his voice, "such freedom is not easy to attain. You must be clever and careful. If you trust me, I will guide you." Bulbas, in his naivety, nodded eagerly. He had never been known for wisdom, and the idea of a life free from toil was too tempting to resist. Chapter 2. A Dangerous Bargain. Reynard led Bulbas deeper into the forest, where the trees grew denser and the shadows darker. Along the way, he entertained the ass with stories of cunning escapes and daring adventures. As they walked, Bulbas asked, "Why do you help me, Reynard? What do you gain?" Reynard placed a paw on his chest, feigning sincerity. "I seek nothing but justice. You have been mistreated, and it is only fair that you find happiness." In truth, Reynard had other motives. He had recently angered the great lion, King Magnus, who ruled the forest. The lion had accused Reynard of stealing from his private food stores, and now the fox was in dire need of a way to regain the king's favor. He knew that the lion loved fresh meat, and an unsuspecting ass would make a fine offering. After an hour of walking, they reached the edge of a clearing where a large boulder sat beneath a mighty oak tree. Reynard stopped and turned to Bulbas. "There is one final thing we must do before reaching the valley," he said. "What is it?" Bulbas asked. "The great King Magnus, the ruler of this land, must grant you passage. He is wise and just, and if we present ourselves before him, he will surely allow you to go." Bulbas hesitated. "A lion? I don't know, Reynard." That sounds dangerous. Reynard waved a paw dismissively. Nonsense. The king only devours those who break his laws. You are innocent. Simply bow before him, show respect, and he will bless your journey. Bulbas, despite his fears, trusted the fox. He took a deep breath and nodded. Very well. Chapter 3. The Lion's Lair. Reynard led Bulbas toward a rocky cavern, where King Magnus resided. The entrance was vast, covered in deep scratches from the lion's mighty claws. Bones of past meals littered the ground, and a heavy, musky scent filled the air. Bulbas gulped. Are you sure about this, Reynard? The fox grinned. Absolutely. Before Bulbas could reconsider, a deep, rumbling voice echoed from within. Who dares approach my den? From the shadows, King Magnus emerged, a magnificent beast with a golden mane that shimmered even in the dim light. His amber eyes scanned the visitors, and his powerful muscles rippled beneath his tawny fur. Reynard stepped forward and bowed. Your Majesty, I bring you a humble traveler who seeks your wisdom and guidance. Bulbas, trembling, lowered his head in an awkward bow. The lion's gaze lingered on Bulbas, and his nostrils flared. What manner of beast is this? Reynard's voice was smooth as silk. This is Bulbas, a loyal servant who has suffered under an unkind master. He wishes for freedom and hopes to find a home beyond the hills. I thought it best to seek your approval. King Magnus studied Bulbas carefully. A noble desire. But tell me, Fox, why do you vouch for him? Reynard's tail flicked. Because justice must be served, my king. And what better way to grant him freedom than to welcome him into your domain? The lion's lips curled into a smirk. I see. Bulbas, despite his fear, began to feel hopeful. Perhaps the lion truly would grant him freedom. But before he could speak, Magnus suddenly lunged, his mighty claws sinking into Bulbas's flank. The ass brayed in terror and pain, but it was too late. The lion's jaws clamped around his throat, silencing him forever. Reynard watched with satisfaction as King Magnus feasted. His plan had worked, the lion was pleased, and Reynard had secured his favor. After finishing his meal, the lion turned to the fox. You have done well, Reynard. For this, you have my favor. Reynard bowed deeply, a triumphant gleam in his eye. It is always an honor to serve, my king. Chapter 4. The Price of Deception. Days passed, and Reynard reveled in his renewed status at the court of King Magnus. But fate is not always kind to deceivers. One afternoon, as Reynard strolled through the forest, he heard a familiar voice, a voice filled with grief and anger. Fox! You are a traitorous wretch. Reynard turned sharply and saw an old farmer standing at the edge of the woods, his face red with rage. You led my ass to his death, the farmer bellowed. You lured him to the lion, and for what? Your own gain. Reynard, for once, had no words. The farmer clenched his fists. You will pay for this. Before Reynard could react, the farmer whistled sharply. From the underbrush, a pack of hounds burst forth, their eyes gleaming with the thrill of the hunt. Reynard's heart pounded. He turned and bolted, weaving through the trees as the baying of the hounds filled the air. But no matter how clever he was, No matter how many tricks he knew, the scent of betrayal clung to him, and the hounds never lost a trail. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest fell silent once more. The fox who had schemed, deceived, and betrayed had finally met his fate. Moral of the story: deception may grant temporary advantage, but betrayal often comes with a heavy price. The end.
Please subscribe for more practicing English by informative content.